This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you!
Boring. Boring. Boring.
Okay, you got it. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. I'm not telling you. Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember what you're doing. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
Hello, one and all. Welcome back to Lembit Öpik Live here on Unprecedented TV, where we find the facts, kill the spin, and tell it like it is as best we can. Big thank you to the ever-growing numbers, and I know I say this all the time, I'm told to, by my producer, Moose. Please subscribe to the YouTube Unprecedented TV. You can find that very easily by putting my name in, Lembit, Lembit, and Unprecedented TV. We're going up the search engines, if you know what that means, and at the more subscribers. The more you subscribe and the more you get your friends to subscribe, the more we can do here. It's complicated, why? But it doesn't cost you anything at this stage, and it won't do if you don't want it to. But I do need as many of you to follow us here on Unprecedented, but we're going great guns, and thank you for that. Coming up today, we're talking about an increasing stress in our society, the migrant crisis, the crisis caused by the mass population of hotels, very posh hotels as well, for example, in the Heathrow area, with migrants who claim they deserve asylum, even though they threw their passports into the sea. You can't really get into Heathrow Airport like that, but apparently you can land on a beach in Dover, and then you get a 4 or 5 star hotel that I couldn't afford to stay in when I'm traveling from Heathrow Airport. And don't worry, there is no climate emergency, so I'll fly as much as I jolly well want. That's a subject for another time. But there's no doubt at all that the entire aspect and culture of the neighborhood of West Drayton, which, as I say, is just next to Heathrow, has changed. Not because of what's going on in the airport, where 60 or 70 million people travel through every year, but because of the people who come to stay, waiting for their asylum claims to be considered. But that's not all. These individuals aren't just sitting there patiently making a useful contribution to British society. They're making a very unuseful and dangerous contribution to the air of menace and discomfort felt by local people, not least around the Cherry Lane Primary School. Now, this has been the subject of some passing interest to the mainstream media, but once again, it falls on Unprecedented TV to give a proper amount of airtime to what's really going on there. Doubtless they'll all pick it up after they see this show. I think my voice is breaking as well, but there we go. That'll be a scoop. The reality here is that we have increasing danger, actual practical menace to young children. And this is causing parents to be terrified of what happens when those children play in the street or even go to school. So what is going on? Well, thanks to some great research by Marilyn Hawes, who joins us today. I'll introduce her in a minute. We are honored to introduce somebody who actually knows more than most about what's going on there. And that's a gentleman who, I suppose it's fair to say, has actually lived it, the problem. And that's James Timms, who is a West Drayton resident. James, good to meet you. Thanks for taking time to join us. Tell us, first of all, about where you live.
Thank you for having me on.
And, well, it's a real honor to have you here because 15 minutes on some mainstream channel won't do this justice. We need to give this proper airtime. So tell us a little bit about why Marilyn Hawes, who I'll introduce in a minute, asked us here at Unprecedented to give you airtime.
Well, you know what it is? Unfortunately, over the time that we have been having illegal migrants being brought into hotels in the local area, it just got to a point where, you know, they're surrounding the Cherry Lane Primary School. The numbers that are coming in of completely undocumented men who have no background checks, and we know that they have ties to the Taliban and the and are allowed to just freely walk the streets of Hillingdon, and mainly, as you can see here, a picture there of Cherry Lane Primary School, which they pass by the main entrance and on the main roadside on a daily basis. I have had to take matters into my own hands in regards to repairing the fencing that surrounds the school. It just got to a point where local residents were complaining that they were seeing migrants ripping at the mesh fencing that was actually behind the metal railings of the school.
Mesh fencing. Before you go further, you said ripping at the mesh fencing of the school.
Yeah. So that it has a metal railing, and then behind that's obviously installed by the school was like a mesh material to hide, to keep the children hidden from members of the public while they're there in school. And I even had it brought to my attention that only this evening, that on the day that happened, that I went out and fixed the fencing, it was only hours prior to that the school had said that they were waiting for a quote to get the fencing fixed. And I actually had a parent from the school ring me in regards to the fact that the children were prohibited from using the grass green area of the playground due to the holes in the fencing, and the fact that illegal migrants were standing there and watching the kids during their lunch breaks and their first breaks in the morning. And one of the parents actually raised the concern that one of the migrants was stood on top of a bin next to the bus stop on the main road to actually be able to catch sight of the children in the school on the playground on that day.
How old are these children, James?
They're ranging from preschool, so they're going into daycare before they hit year one in primary school. And it's got to a point where the parents had actually turned around and boycotted taking their children into the school because they felt that it was unsafe and wasn't being safeguarded well enough by the school to keep the children hidden away from obviously undocumented men that seem to be of working age, just standing, I don't like the word oogling, but standing leering and making not even hiding the fact that they're doing it. They were more than visible from members of the community who live across the road from the school that can see these guys ripping the fencing down. And we're raising this with the police, and we're just constantly in a battle. And it's the sad thing is that a lot of parents now and a lot of children are normalizing this behavior. Yeah. And it's a shame that it's getting to this. It really is.
The signal's not great, but we're going to continue because it's such an important subject. I want somebody else to join us now. I mentioned her before, Marilyn Hawes, who is a great friend of free speech and liberty, but more than anything, she's a friend of living free from abuse. She's chief executive of Freedom from Abuse. Marilyn, good to see you again.
Hi there.
Well, what do you make of what you heard?
Well, I mean, honestly, I didn't think much would surprise me, but James heard me. I think it was on LBC radio about a week or so ago, and he contacted me and sent me this email about what was going on. And I said, look, I can't travel down to Hillingdon, but I can do something as an online speech, if you like, at this protest that he's doing on Saturday, and rightly so that he's doing this protest. I mean, I just am absolutely outraged. And also, I mean, I'm a former deputy head, and if this was happening at my school, I wouldn't be pouncing around waiting for some quote. I would be getting the caretaker and asking other parents, can you please do something with this until we get it fixed? I mean, what are the school doing? It is actually appalling that they have been so dilatory. Oh, we're waiting for a quote. Why shouldn't the children go on the grass areas? You've got to do everything immediately. I really applaud James, and I'm really happy to support what he's doing, because I can't believe the videos that he showed me. I mean, it is outrageous. I mean, the stories he's told me about his own daughter, a 13-year-old yesterday being verbally and physically assaulted by migrants, women being touched up, police that are not turning out. Well, we know, don't we, that the police are, you know, if you're not careful, you're going to get anything you say, like, this is my flag, I was born here, you're going to get arrested for it. I mean, it's absolute nonsense. I mean, I'm so worried about Keir Starmer and his merry gang that I've actually joined the Freedom of Speech Union, because you know how outspoken I am, and you can't even fart anywhere now without someone arrest you. I really applaud James and the parents and anybody he knows. And what he's trying to do is, or he is going to do, not trying to do, is going to do, is this peaceful protest. And that's the way to do it. We don't need these idiots raging like pro-Palestine people that are getting arrested. The way to do this is to box clever, be intelligent, contact the right people, get media involved, like your good self, and that's how you raise the flag, and that's how you raise the debate. You know, contacting the chief constable. Where are his officers, for goodness sake? Nowhere to be seen. You go to the police crime commissioner. Where's your MP? What's he doing? Where's the director of education? Go to the top brass. My dad always used to say to me, you know, never talk to the oily rag, talk to the engine driver. And you go to the top and you raise Cain, and you have to keep doing it. And that's where media like yourself, Lembit, you know, free speech programs are absolutely needed more and more and more. And it is horrific what's going on down in Hillingdon. I mean, it's, I just can't, I'm actually, I would say I'm speechless. I'm never speechless, but I applaud James and all the other people that are joining him. And I'm very happy to support.
One small point, just for the avoidance of doubt. Despite what Marilyn said, farting isn't yet illegal in public. Well, don't come on. Let me finish. It's because I haven't got round to banning it yet, because it could cause offence. No, seriously, we can make that change. But anyway, I don't know if you don't know who that was, so I'm not going to tell you. I'm still working on my Keir Starmer. Hopefully, I'll get it right before he has to.
Never hear Keir. That's what he is. Never hear Keir.
Yes,
never hear.
Yes.
Two-tier Keir, never hear Keir.
And then
James,
two-tier Keir.
Well, I would say that Marilyn's being a bit modest, because we see Marilyn here as a very big friend to Unprecedented TV, because we do see ourselves as Free Speech Central, the home of free speech now in modern broadcasting. We don't want to beat the mainstream. We want to be the mainstream, because this is the subject. This is the kind of conversation we should have that millions of people see. But of course, the mainstream's scared of it. They'll give it a little airtime, then they'll move on. James, what do you make of what Marilyn said? Because she's pretty outraged. I don't want to put words in your mouth, and I guess what you might say.
No, do you know what?
Comment.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, the amount of angry parents that I am meeting on a daily basis is just shocking. And we had a protest back towards the beginning of October, just after the Tommy Robinson march, in which do you know what, I try not to be too outspoken, because you know sometimes people will judge you on your views and quite happily just stereotype you into a certain type of group. But it got to the point where, after my daughter going what she had to go through, I felt that there was no option but to speak up. And that raised a lot of attention. Luckily, I managed to get about 2,000 views on that, and a lot of people did actually share that video. It is a shame, and the amount of angry parents that we have in this community is just growing by the day. Absolutely growing by the day, and it's just unfair for our children to have to try and normalize, you know, what they're seeing on a daily basis.
Let's look at one of the videos that you've described, actually, and Marilyn mentioned it. For me, this is one of the great disturbing things. I'll show them in no particular order. Maybe we'll do two before the break, and we'll do a third one after. But just before we go into this, where do these actual videos come from? Who made them?
These are all from concerned parents. You know, we've obviously have our our demonstration organised for the 18th. And we've also been handing out leaflets in the local area in Uxbridge town centre as well. To be honest, you would be very, very surprised at the amount of responses that we got, signatures, where people were very scared to be, I think, the first person to put their foot into the pond, you know, in regards to making the first step. But to see that there was a group of people that are trying to do this by the book to get our voices heard, and that it's not about division of ethnicities. This is not about the color of anybody's skin. This is purely about the fact that we have undocumented men walking the streets of this country, and not only just in our own borough, but yet Hillingdon Borough seems to be the hub for everywhere. I mean, this picture here is just a screenshot that or a photo that a parent had taken and uploaded, but unfortunately, when she tried to actually do a video, they approached her in a very threatening and very intimidating manner.
Hang on. Two things there. First, James, who's they? Who approached her in a threatening manner, and what was she trying to film?
So basically, the photo there that you can see of the migrants walking, they were actually heading away from a child's school, which they had been told by some local parents of the community who had their children in the park at the time that they need to, you know, go back to the hotel because obviously, you know, the children were in distress. So she managed to get a photo, and I believe it was her partner who said, well, what we'll do is we'll film a video, and, you know, it will make it more clear to people, and we'll show the route in which they're walking, in which them two migrants that are actually in that photo then turned around and then started walking towards the parents in a very intimidating manner, in which the parent then ran back to the front door and closed the door to avoid any confrontation.
So James, tell me, are you saying that the migrants in this picture, who presumably are claiming asylum, we don't know how they got here, I suppose, but presumably claiming asylum, were hanging around in droves at the primary school trying to look at the kids?
Yeah, 1,000%.
So there's no ambiguity. I'm not dressing this up. I'm not putting words in your mouth.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Say it in your words so that no one can say that we're dressing up what's going on or trying to mislead anyone. In your words, James.
The amount of illegal migrants that are coming out of the Crown Plaza, the Novotel Hotel, the Holiday Inn, which has now been opened, they've now opened half of the hotel to members of the public as well, are constantly walking down past Cherry Lane School, past numerous residential houses to the local shops, spitting, jeering, groping local mums who have been out picking their kids up from school. I believe it's in the region of about 3 or 4 mothers at the moment that I know of. You know, and it's just got to a point where people are so enraged and so fed up with just undocumented men that, you know, and it's even got to the point, if I can be brutally honest, yesterday we had a 13-year-old girl who was attacked by an illegal migrant. And to the point we had made contact with the police to get somebody out. 20 minutes had gone past and nothing. Eventually, the police did turn up about half an hour later, but only because the local community church where the migrants have been allowed to go to collect mobile phones, tablets, SIM cards, free food to have in between their meals that are already being provided to them by the hotels. Doctors and dentists within the hotels as well. But it has just got to the point where, you know, enough is enough. And as a community, we need to try and get our voices heard because something has to change.
Is this the hotel you're talking about, the Holiday Inn? I used to stay there a lot because I used to travel through London a lot before I lived in London. Is that the Holiday Inn you're talking about?
That is the exact one, yes.
A spectacularly expensive, very impressive, high quality hotel with great food, great service, now being used to house migrants, many of whom I'm sure are here arrived illegally.
Yeah. I mean, I did have one of my colleagues that was in that's in our little PR group to try and get our voices heard. Actually, had a conversation with a migrant yesterday, and he clearly exclaimed. He said, "I'm in need of a solicitor."
Say that again.
And
sorry,
my colleague said, "Well, why is that?"
So, James, could you repeat
sorry.
that? Because we lost you for a second there. Could you just repeat what you said?
So basically, one of my colleagues yesterday from our PR group, where we're trying to get our voices heard, she actually had a conversation with an illegal immigrant yesterday, and he explained that his asylum had been refused. So when she then further quizzed him on this, he then said, well, he said, it will go back to court again. And she said, okay, so what would happen then, obviously, if you get refused again? He said, it's no problem. He said, I will still stay. And we sort of like, excuse me, like, what? He said, no, it's okay. He said, I stay in a hotel and then they get house for me. I have my money and I have everything else. I just go to one place and they give me everything.
Marilyn?
I mean, honestly, these aren't even asylum seekers. Most of these are economic migrants. How many do you see coming over with their women and their children? Very, very few. There's a lot of them that are going into local colleges. I have known this for several years now, that some of these migrants that come in, they come from countries, they're quite small in height. And they have been getting into schools and saying they are sole migrants and they haven't come with parents, and they've been like accepted into schools when they're not 16 years old. They're about 21 years old. I mean, I just don't understand this guy. So the gentleman that, dare I say gentleman? I will say gentleman, that James has just described, who said, I come back, I get a hotel. Why, if he has not been accepted, then why isn't he put on a plane, on a boat, and sent straight back? Why do they let them in the first place? I'm sorry, I don't understand it. What I do understand and what I believe is Keir Starmer loves these people. He wants everybody in Britain to be brown. He wants to get rid of our heritage and the love of our country. No one's saying we are NIMBYs. We want people to come in that are, migrants that actually come into this country as doctors, nurses, whatever, and contribute. These wasters and opportunists have got nothing to bring. And if they had anything to bring, they wouldn't throw their paperwork.
Look at his happy face there.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at his happy little chirpy face.
I tell you what, I know where I'll
Good old Keir Starmer.
2 tiers, dear. Oh, 2 tier Keir. Absolute joke.
2 tier Keir, never here. I don't. And as for Shabana Mohammed, whatever her name is, who was supposed to be, I'm the tough one.
Shabana Mahmood. You mean the Home Secretary?
Yeah, and what's she done? What has she done? She was going to do so much. She has done nothing, and they won't do anything. There's no one in the Labour Party that has got a spine or any interest in the children in this country. They are, if anyone, if they could easily stop this. But of course, who do we have? We have Lord Harmer as our Attorney General. Oh dear, let me think now. Human rights. What's Keir Starmer? Human rights. These lefties, you get rid of all the human rights lawyers, come out of the ECHR, and let's give us our country back. And there is going to be a massive uprising in this country soon, because the anger is now palpable, and it's going to overspin soon.
But look at this lady here,
I'd rather not.
James. Well, Shabana Mahmood, she looks serious.
She does. If she was serious, she'd have put some back. This one in, one out. Excuse me, 7,000 come in and 6 go back.
I tell you?
We're not reducing the number, because with the 6 that go back, we've got to have 6 that come in.
So we have to go break. Sorry, I'm talking.
And what are the French doing? What are the French doing? They get billions. And what are they doing? Oh, let me see now. They used a pepper spray the other day. Oh, well, that's going to stop them, isn't it? I mean, just get a knife and slash the ruddy boats. And, I mean,
No, you can't do that, Marilyn, because then we can't take them back We can't take them back across so they can use them again.
The French police can't the French police can't get their dainty little feet tootsies wet, can they?
Oh.
I mean,
you know how cold the channel is at this time of year, Marilyn. Have a heart. You know what? You're so selfish.
You know, actually, I'm not being
Don't you like French cheese? What's wrong with a baguette?
I used to be quite a nice person, but I'm turning into being an absolute bitch. I really
You're
am.
not. Don't use like please be careful. Be careful. Get away with that one. Yeah. A private detective, you mean?
But I really feel, I mean, this is just, and this West Drayton is just one part of how many other, I mean, Öpik looks like all they want to do is, they're not racist. They want to safeguard their women and their children.
I mean, it's got to a point.
Oh, he was going to kiss, you know, Jess Phillips and all of that. What a load of nonsense that is, safeguarding women. That they were going to like really do something for violence against women and girls. What a load of tosh. They don't give a damn.
James,
you're meant to give a damn. And that's the trouble with the lefties. They don't care.
James,
no, they don't.
James, I'm sorry about my friend. You're meant to be the guest. Yeah.
No, there's no problem at all.
He should be thrown out of the country. One in, one out. Can I just say one thing before I come to you, James? And it's my show. I can do what I want. So I'm going to do what I want. No, I'm going to do what I want. My producer, Moose isn't going to stop me. Let me say one thing about this one in, one out thing. 30-second rant. Indulge me, my friends. One in, one out. So let's say 100 come in on the beaches. We send 100 out. Who's in charge of our migration policy? Because that's not where it stops. 100 come in across the channel in one of those boats. We send 100 back, and then we get another 100 back in. So if you've got a boat like that, for example, let's say there's 100 people in there. They all come in, we chuck them out, but then we take another 100 in. That means that we have now given the migration policy to illegal traffickers, because we have to take exactly the same number in who got in. So if 1 million people got into these stupid boats and came in, we have to take 1 million asylum seekers, even if we get rid of them.
But they're
have I missed something?
But they're not asylum seekers. They're economic migrants. If you were a true asylum seeker, you would not, and really, or if you were someone that had really something to offer the country, that, you know, I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm whatever I am.
Hang on. If you're saying, Marilyn, are saying you're an engineer, doctor, and nurse, you're lying more than Rachel reads at TV, but that's a small point. Carry on.
You mean Rachel from accounts? Yes, of course.
Complaints, actually. Get it right. Can I just say, sorry, you and I are talking.
If you were genuinely wanting to come into this country, you would not throw your paperwork and your passport in the ocean or in the channel. You know, if you wanted to come here and work and get a job and you had a qualification to do so, you would hold tightly onto your paperwork and your passport. You wouldn't come. I mean, all these. Sorry, I was going to say something beginning with B, but I'm not.
So.
I know. All these people.
Bounders.
Have bounders. That's it. These bounders. Absolutely, these atrocious bounders. All these people. You wouldn't get through Heathrow. We wouldn't get through Heathrow without a passport. These bounders.
I didn't get where I am today without a passport. Marilyn, I don't want to be rude, but can we just let our new guest say something? Because it's his story. It's his story, James. I'm sorry.
No, it's no problem at all. But no, you know, it has got to a point where, you know, something has to change. You know, two-tier care, the whole two-tier policing system. You know, I mean, we like I say, we had a 13-year-old girl out in the community. Next to a park by the local church that was providing stuff, phones and other items for the illegal migrants, and yet nothing. You know, it seems very selective as to when and if they are willing to help you, and you know, it's just got to a point where, you know, we're trying to keep this as peaceful and as anti-violence as possible. You know, I mean, for our flash, for our demonstration that we've got on the 18th, we're doing it by the book. We don't want people to, stereotype. Oh, the far right, they're racist. They're doing it because of this, and they're doing it because of that. It has nothing to do with that. We have approached the council with numerous emails, just to find out where public spending is going. We've recently found out that Hillingdon Council is completely bankrupt, but obviously they are receiving funding for having these migrants. So, where is the rest of this money going? Because we're led to believe that, it's because of this and it's because of that, when well and truly a majority of this money is being used, taxpayers' money is being used to house, feed and provide mobile phones and, snacks and food banks that originally were designed for, the homeless of this country, to stop people starving, people that couldn't afford to feed their kids. And now these migrants are being allowed to go into the food banks and being given priority over families.
There's a difference, James. British people who depend on food banks don't live in the Crown Plaza at Heathrow Airport. That's the difference.
Good point.
I mean, these people are really suffering. Have you ever heard how noisy it can be in the Crown Plaza when there's a what do you call a hen party going through? These people are suffering.
Oh, it's horrendous.
I'm going to have to stop you all for a minute. There's no real point in me being here with you two. I have to say, you're watching the very agitated Marilyn Hawes. That's why we love her, and James Timms, who is being so erudite and clear in what he's saying. Hopefully this is hitting home. But before we go any further, I promised Claire Dyer all week that I would promote her show. She takes hit after hit after hit. She gets pressure because of what she does on Unprecedented TV. And she broke a huge story. Sean Renner lost his job in the north of England because he was putting Union Jacks and St. George's flags onto lampposts. He lost his job for it. We broke that story. Specifically, Claire Dyer broke that story. The nation's media followed afterwards because they didn't want to be left behind by Unprecedented. Claire Dyer's show is something that everybody should watch. Take a look at this.
Do you speak English?
This is a story about a Greek politician and a stupid little git from Romford who thinks that he can come here and run it better than we can?
Χαμός.
What's that sign say?
Probably a postcode.
So you know how to say hello in Greek then? Calamari. 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 Calamari.
Abrex. No.
Κατέστρεψε στη ζωή.
This is also about AIDS, conflicts.
Все, что было можно. Тварь!
You think you can deal with the situation better, huh?
Yeah, it's a postcode.
Congratulations. You are now mayor, Mr. Calamari.
The name's Keith.
I know. I can read.
Keith Calamari, it doesn't matter to me because you're always going to be a tiny little British squid to me.
English, actually.
And it's about tales of the unexpected.
That is forever England.
Μπορεί να μου πεις τι ελληνικά. Αδιανόητες βλακίες.
But actually, I quite like it.
Why have we stopped?
My arrest period.
Why? Why here?
EU regulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, we weren't meant to be playing that. Or at least I wasn't told we were playing that. But now I remember, Marilyn and James, I'm meant to be promoting Mr. Calamari because we're in a funding round for my pet project. And you know what the shame here is? This is the wonder of live television. I told them to put it in. They're punishing me. What did you think, by the way? I know it's a total digression. I like it. It's ironic in a way because that's about a British Brexiteer who moves to Corfu because he thinks he can run Corfu better than the locals. And he does. I kind of hope this is going to go viral, but I hope it doesn't. Did you like it? Please say something nice.
I was terribly worried that I was already thinking you were actually going to vomit on camera, and I'm thinking, oh my God.
I was thinking that was going that way, and
I can tell you, when I'm nervous, this is actually true. Then I throw up. When I'm nervous, I throw up. I don't know why. And I was the only person. I'm directing. I wrote it. There's Mr. Calamari, please. If you've got some money, then give me a call. It's going to be a big smash hit. James, if you've got money, let's talk about it. But Marilyn, I'm not going to ask you. But because I know you're rich because you don't.
Well, that makes three of us. You've not no money.
I was rich enough to make that the trailer. But basically, but I'm the only. I can do it on demand, and okay, I'll be quick. I've been told off by the. I mean, told off by the gallery, but very quickly. I had to do it. And the guy who was filming it, Ali Farahani, an Oscar-winning director of photography, he stopped filming. I said, what's wrong? He said, you're seasick. I went, you of all people should know, I'm acting. There you go. I'm sorry, but I do still have to. They did that to punish me because I hadn't introduced it. Claire, if you're watching, I'm sorry. That was not your trailer. That is Mr. Calamari, by the way. And there's no way of taking it back. It's in the airwaves now. But what I was meant to, well, I was told I was introducing, and thanks, team, for not telling me I was going down the wrong path, was this. It's Claire Dyer, Dire Consequences. This is a serious heavyweight attempt at dealing with the kind of things we're discussing now. I hope it's going to be the right one. And Claire, if you're watching this live, by the way, happy birthday to your family member, Claire. I won't go into the details. Claire is under a lot of heat because she exposes all kinds of things. And she went viral because she highlighted the man who lost his job for putting up flags. You're in danger, by the way, James, because you got your British flag behind you. And she highlighted the fact this guy lost his job. All the mainstream media ran after it afterwards. But they didn't credit Unprecedented TV. But there we go. James, you're very brave to have that there, and thank you. That's the best.
This is why I've got this here, because this is like I've said. This isn't about division of ethnicities. We have so many people from all around the world, different cultures, different religions, that are quite happy to be here and actually contribute towards the country. And actually provide towards the communities and actually do some good. But to have these gentlemen that are actually walking the streets, and our kids are walking past these men and young boys every single day. And
are there any migrant women in these groups?
At the moment, we haven't seen any. We haven't seen any at all. They are literally just working age, fighting age men.
That's right.
I'm going to interrupt. I'm acutely aware of the time. By the way, James, despite the the faux pas that I made with the break. I hope you're going to come back as well because you've got a lot to talk about. Marilyn,
No.
your charity is all about abuse.
Yeah, preventing it and dealing with those who have been abused. So I intend after Saturday, I'm going to help James. I'm going to kick some ass and press the flesh of the police because, and if necessary, I will go to the Chief Constable and I will get in touch with the MP and I'm going to literally press the flesh because this is outrageous that these children are being ignored by the police. But we know why, don't we? Because we prefer the migrants.
Yep.
I mean, James, please do tell Lembit what you told me, what happened at 5:10 a.m.
Oh, yes. So at 8 minutes past 5 this morning, there was an incident which I wasn't.
8:05 in the morning. 8:05.
This morning, yes.
Sorry,
5 past.
Sorry, 5 past. So 5 in the morning, roughly.
Yeah. So just after 5 a.m. this morning, an incident had occurred, which obviously I wasn't well aware of until waking up myself this morning and seeing that the police had actually cornered off the road. Excuse me, to find out that a local cab driver who was picking up two, we do believe that they are two migrants, and turned around and, due to an altercation, then stabbed the gentleman 6 times. So he then ended up being taken to hospital.
In a slightly frustrating way, your signal broke up for a moment. Let me just check I heard what you said. The cab driver stabbed the occupant somehow. Is that right?
No. He went to pick up 2 occupants at 5 o'clock this morning. An altercation then happened after them jumping in the vehicle, which then proceeded to him being stabbed several times.
So the cab driver was stabbed.
Yep.
Okay. The cab driver was stabbed. And it may have been, well, we don't know who they were. But
no.
Interestingly enough, James, here's something that really, really bugs me. I'll give you both the chance to comment on this. In Liverpool, not a person drove a car into a crowd celebrating, I think it was the victory of the football team in the league. As soon as he did it, well, within 2 hours, we were told he was white, male, his age, I think, and he came from Liverpool. So we learned his ethnicity as well as everything else. Have we been told officially by the police what the ethnicity of these alleged attackers were?
No, we've had no information divulged at all.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do after the show. I'll put something out highlighting this.
I have actually been provided footage from a person that lives across the road who's actually provided me their Ring doorbell footage of the incident actually taking place.
We've got some videos. I'm not sure if this is one of the ones you provided my team, but can we go through the videos that you provided? I'm not sure in what order they'll play.
Yeah.
But you can describe what's going on, and I think it's important. So I'll leave you to narrate.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Video, that's not it. I think, okay, we'll come back to that in just a minute. I know what. There was one more question about this. The Crown Plaza, is that one of the hotels that vested interest here? One of my colleagues who's in the studio loves that hotel. And he's saying,
that's the one that's now being used. That's now being used as the hub. So the coaches, when they arrive in the area, are actually going to the Crown Plaza and dropping them off there. And then from there, they're either being distributed to the Novotel Hotel, the Holiday Inn, or even the Mercure, which is just down the road in Shepston Lane. And they're being distributed from there. So, I mean, over the period of, say, the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've had probably about 6 or 7 coaches arriving and dropping them off, and they can be seen disembarking from the coaches and being handed bags of goodies when they're going into the hotel to be processed.
Is this the Mercure Hotel you're talking about?
Yes, that is the one. Yeah.
And then what's this one? The Novotel, that's involved as well.
Yep, the Novotel Hotel is now completely a migrant hotel.
And you mentioned the Crown, the Crown Plus. I can't believe it. These are some of the finest hotels in the area. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's just like,
and now we're also getting littered with HMOs everywhere.
Houses of multiple occupancy, if you don't know, and also you mentioned that before as well. Those are the 4 hotels you were talking about. Maybe we can show the video. Thank you, by the way, team. That was probably quite important to talk about the Crown Plaza being a hub. Can we possibly play one of the videos and see what happens? What's going on here?
So this is some the migrants that you can see here in these videos. These are some of the migrants that have actually been kicked out from residing in the hotels. So they've taken it upon themselves to
why have they been kicked out? Sorry, why have they been kicked out?
Well, we're led to believe purely because of their behaviour within the hotels. We did catch wind. Somebody actually overheard the hotel staff, a hotel staff member, talking as they were leaving the premises, to say that they had been smashing chairs in their rooms, putting holes in doors, urinating and putting feces out in the hallways and stuff like that. That the hotels are just being absolutely driven into the ground completely by these illegal migrants. So because they're now not allowed in the hotels, they're now residing on the grounds that, surround the hotels.
So hang on, these people are actually living in the grounds of the hotel.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, I've traveled a lot, I still do, and I stay in hotels a lot. But if I ever got thrown out of a hotel, I probably wouldn't stay in the garden.
No, neither would I.
Marilyn, that's bad etiquette, isn't it?
Well, the whole thing is just dreadful. I mean, the awful thing is, and I'm going to sound an absolute snob, and I'm not, is where they come from. There's no moral compass, there's no respect or regard for women anyway, and they don't have the same cleanliness and you don't even know, besides anything else, you don't know what viruses and diseases they're bringing in. The countries they're coming from probably don't have the vaccinations and the healthcare that we have here. And I read today that they're actually having private healthcare. I ask you.
Well, that's good. They deserve it. They're illegal.
Yeah,
they're asylum
so
seekers.
Distressed. But they've come from, and I'm sure some of these people, they're not asylum because they've come through places like France and Germany and Europe, where they are not being harmed and at threat, but also they're now having letters they can buy for £40, letters written by these the gangs and the people, the traffickers, to buy a letter that says I am being threatened with death in my country. So they're fake letters that they're showing people to say that I am an asylum seeker, but it's not true. Most of them are opportunists and fortune hunters. I'm not being funny. Who can blame them? Look, across the channel is fairyland. We get this, we get that. Who can actually blame them? If we're stupid enough to take them in, who can blame them?
Yeah.
We've got beer and fish and chips.
Absolutely.
Can I just, we're almost out of time. The gallery's screaming at me. Gallery, by the way, if you don't know, well, that's the people who are meant to try to keep me under control. But these two are just live wires. We could do a 2-hour show, to be honest with you, James. Let's go through the other 2 videos, though, because they're really important. Can we play the next one? You need to tell us what's going on in it. If hopefully we can play it. All right. Okay.
So this one's from outside the Novotel Hotel. So these again are a couple of migrants that have actually been ejected from the hotel. Just round the corners from where the main entrances are, they have bags with blankets and bits and pieces to keep themselves warm. And then you've also got just migrants coming out of the hotel and just sitting, socializing with each other. And then when they're walking past people, they'll turn and look at you, they'll stare you down. And we've even had women that have been spat at multiple times, and this is supposed to be normalized. I just can't wrap my head around it.
James, can I ask you, why is nobody managing this? Because let's assume every single person we've seen in that picture, in that video, and the other videos, is a legitimate asylum seeker. Why are they allowed to behave in a way which would potentially get you arrested in Starmer's Britain if you were not an asylum seeker?
You know, there is obviously that very thin line, you know, to, you know, pushing the button to say, you know, okay, these people are here with genuine reason and genuine, you know, concerns of actually being a contributing member of society. But when you could, and don't get me wrong, you know, I'm all for anybody being a contributing, you know, member of society. You know, I myself have paid my taxes all my life and worked all my life. But to see people coming in and just being allowed to be given free will to do whatever they want, and, you know, just with no cares given at all to the local community. You know, if I went over to their country and I tried to exact British law over there, what would happen to me? Because I'm pretty sure I know what would happen to me. I'd probably get thrown into a prison cell and left there.
You'd be given a 5-star hotel room, a mobile phone. You mock me. My parents were asylum seekers, you know. Yeah, they were actually, by the way, as kids, and they were welcomed in here. But you know what the difference is? They told me to embrace the culture that embraced us. That was the difference. I've got to show you. I'm beginning to speed up now because we're nearly out of time. There's a third video, and this is like horrendous. Yes. I mean, can we just play that video, please? Narrate what's going on here.
This, believe it or not, was actually only filmed yesterday afternoon. So there is a local church called Bell Farm Church that they run like a local community coffee morning for the elderly residents in the area. They also provide free advice for people that are in need of any help that they can give. Obviously, everybody's welcome. But they're also providing phones, SIM cards, snacks for them to have within their set meal times and everything. And this group here have walked straight past a children's park, which is based right outside of this church. And the police came to escort them back so that way they didn't feel alarmed, threatened or distressed by local members of the community who were obviously enraged. I mean, you can see the number there of migrants walking. I mean, and that is honestly, that is just a small snippet of what we get. It was only on Sunday and Monday that some more coaches had come and dropped more of them off. That there was a roundabout figure of about 100 migrants walking the streets of West Drayton, walking past the schools, walking past the kids, and just nobody doing nothing. Nobody cares. You know, we've raised this issue with the council, we've raised it with the Home Office, and we just get shut down at every avenue. But you know, something has got to change. It really does.
Marilyn, you have dedicated your life to stopping abuse. I'm of foreign stock. I'm not going to make a joke about that. But I suppose Estonia, where my parents came from, and Britain have a lot in common. Lots of these cultures haven't, but it doesn't mean they couldn't integrate. What is it, with your experience of abuse and your deep understanding of it, that we should be doing?
Not letting them in. I'm sorry.
But they're not all bad, are they? They're not all bad.
They're not all bad, but you have to have a proper... I don't understand why they can't build like we had when it was COVID, when they built these Nightingale hospitals. Why can't they have centres that they're taken to where they're processed? And if you are not going to be accepted, then you go back to France, and then you have to either apply again or whatever. If you are accepted, then okay, you can come and join us. And I am, just like James, all for people who want to come and contribute. If you are not going to respect our laws, you're going to set up your Sharia laws and have, as we have seen in this country, where imams are
Sharia
marrying
law, I
people-
think it is, not Sharia. Sharia, get it right.
Sharia, I'm so sorry. But you know, when Dantic, where you know where
Pedantic, one
where
D.
they listen to me, where they're marrying 14-year-old girls in this country. If you're going to come and think you can run your own laws and your own way of living in this country, as James rightly said, we couldn't go and build a church in Pakistan. We couldn't go and do all sorts of things. I mean, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. My daughter lived in Dubai, and when she had first lived there 10 years ago, you couldn't show your shoulders and stuff like that or wear shorts. And so you respect the country that you're living in. The trouble is the people that are coming in here from Somalia and people like Eritrea and all of that, they don't have the education and the background and the ethics and the respect and all those things that you are taught. And they come in and they think they can run amok. And you can't have that. So there's a lot to do with education, but I don't understand why they built those Nightingale hospitals in a very short space of time. Why can't they do that in areas well away from any town or village and put them in there, deal with them, process them, and then whatever? And if you're not accepted, you go back.
Last word to you, James, before I wrap up. James.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, like Marilyn says, you know, that we've recently found out that there are in our local colleges in the area. You know, they are now, the Hillingdon Borough, as they currently stand, are in major amounts of debt, and that we've found out that they are cutting funding to a local school, I believe in the region of about 160,000. And they're also cutting fundamental projects like the minor injuries department that actually runs at Mount Vernon Hospital at the moment, which then leaves only Slough. So, you know, local residents of Northwood and Pinner areas, stuff like that, now have to travel all the way to Slough just to be able to be seen, as there is no other minor injuries unit around. You know, it's just crazy. It's something really has to, you know, hear what we're saying, you know, because how many other areas is it going to be that will end up like this, you know? And then how long is it going to be before a child is very seriously hurt or very seriously attacked? That, you know, how are you going to expect members of the community to just bite their lip and not say anything or not react to that? You know, we're all human at the end of the day. And, you know, especially as a parent, you know, you see a child, let alone your own child, in distress. You know, me personally, I would feel obligated that I need to go and help, you know, go and say something, you know, put my support out there. So like when I got in contact with Marilyn right at the beginning, I'm not saying that I have started the whole protest and everything else. I am simply somebody that has been on the same pages by doing what I did for the school to protect the children, and it just so happened that we were running in cahoots at the same time, and both with the same agenda. So, you know, fair play to my friend Ian for starting all of this, and you know, all I can say is thank you to everybody that has supported us and is currently supporting us with what we're doing and trying to get our voices heard.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages.